Banks, a member of the House Armed Services, Education, and Veterans Affairs Committees. And great to have you with us, Congressman.
Great to be with you.
The president today over at the National Institutes of Health, meeting with all of those terrific researchers, scientists, the great medical staffs. Yesterday, with the heads of all the pharmaceutical companies, he is leading what is nothing less than the war against the coronavirus. Your thoughts, if you will, about the limitations of this country right now, is suddenly so many people are becoming aware that China turns out 97% of our antibiotics, most of our pharmaceuticals or pharmaceutical ingredients.
Well, Lou, this is a wake-up call for the United States of America, and I hope it's not too late for that wake-up call to occur. I'm first and foremost grateful that President Trump is at the helm. He's shown tremendous leadership in the midst of the coronavirus fight. I'm also glad that he chose someone who I know very well, the Vice President, to lead the efforts. I served for 4 years in the state legislature during the entire time that Mike Pence was governor of Indiana. I can tell you he's well equipped to lead these efforts. But I got to tell you, I'm sick and tired of Congress not matching that same intensity that President Trump has brought to this fight, not just against the coronavirus, but the fight against China. And you've seen that over the past 8 days. It was 8 days ago that President Trump asked for $2.5 billion from Congress in emergency funding to help him fight this fight. And to this point today, Congress is still dragging its feet. I mean, now we're at $8.5 billion that we're talking about. We're talking about the dollar figures, but we're arguing over minor details in the midst of all this, and that's preventing this president from doing what he needs to do to overcome this challenge.
It's clear that the Democratic Party, the party of hate that has carried out a special counsel investigation against this president, that has wasted his time, the nation's energy, and millions and millions of taxpayer dollars, and then an impeachment, a farce of an impeachment attempt. We shouldn't expect too much of them, even in a crisis that will affect the lives of millions of Americans who may contract this illness as it looks now.
Well, there's so much more that we need to do, and I want to join the president in this fight, and that's why in recent days we've uncovered that many of the state pension funds in America, especially CalPERS, the largest state pension fund in the country, is investing in a lot of the same companies that are building up the Chinese military and building the Chinese economy. We need to divest these public pension funds from investing in China. And there's also a lot we can do, Lou, to prevent the VA, the largest
Can the president do that by executive order?
I think if he can, we want to work with him to do that. I think this is where Congress has fallen well short of the leadership test in doing things like that and preventing the VA, the largest medical center in the country, from buying a lot of its medical equipment from China. Those are the places that Congress needs to start, and that's where Congress is missing the boat.
Well, this president has talked about America first for the past 5 years. There should be no one who's unfamiliar with his insistence that that be our priority. Buy American, hire American, except corporate America has insisted upon putting their supply chains, scattering them across Southeast Asia and into China, instead of preserving proximity and national security for all of those manufacturing plants, for all those pharmaceuticals. How quickly can we do something about it? That is, find other sources besides China. And by the way, how about building those facilities in this country now?
Well, there's language that we can place in the National Defense Authorization Act that's coming up. I serve on the Armed Services Committee, Lou. Sadly, these processes, these bills, these legislative vehicles take way too long. The first thing we got to do is pass this emergency funding bill, give the president what he's asking for and the funding that he needs to fight the coronavirus. That's where we have to start.
Congressman, I hope that you and others on Capitol Hill, Republicans, will join with the president. He needs a group around him as he leads. He's going to have to use, as President Obama once said it, the pen and the phone, because he can't wait for the moronic sloths, Schumer and Pelosi and the like. He needs to help the American people, and he's done a hell of a job of it on his own to this point.
He's the first president in my lifetime to take on the China threat. Every other president in my lifetime has gone out of their way to appease China and turn a blind eye to their bad practices. That's why I'm glad to fight fight alongside him every step of the way.
Absolutely. Those days well over. Thank you, Congressman. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.